What's going on, guys? MakerMods here, back at it again with another Switch review. Today we're taking a look at a new Switch from a new manufacturer, at least to this channel, the FLCMMK Ice Mint Linear. If you want to jump to the sound tests or comparisons, there are timestamps in the video descriptions below. Let's get started. First, who is FLCMMK? Googling them didn't really turn up much, but I did find a website for FLEsports, which is a Chinese company that makes gaming keyboards and mice. At first glance, they seem like just another random gaming peripherals company, but there were a few things I noticed about the designs that made me think they are true enthusiasts. For example, the LED orientation on their budget keyboards are south-facing, which prevents interference with cherry profile switches. And also, as you can see, this keyboard is $80 on Amazon, and it's even cheaper on AliExpress. It's a small thing, but for some reason most budget gamer-centric boards use north-facing LEDs, and I'm not really sure why, because it causes interference with cherry profile keycaps. They also make aftermarket stabilizers, which are being marketed across AliExpress and eBay as the best plate mount stabilizers. No holy mod needed. The fact that a gaming company that looks similar to Razer or Logitech at first glance even knows what the holy mod is kind of a big deal. Last, they stock different plate materials like polycarbonate and brass, and include silicone dampening foam, all for a $60 TKL keyboard. Little facts like these give me a bit more confidence that they really care about things like board acoustics and design, and they are intentional about the products they're selling. Getting back to the Ice Mints, not to be confused with the Texi Ice Mint Tactiles, these are a full palm linear switch. As far as I can tell, they're the only full palm linear on the market other than the Novel Keys Cream. To spice things up, the Ice Mints are also manufactured by Kailh, who manufactures the creams. Keeping that in mind, I was really excited to try out these switches, and I have to say that I'm very impressed. Here's a stock sound test. I'm trying something new, so you don't have to stare at my fat fingers for 30 seconds. I'll be typing my impressions of the Switch, and you can read them on the screen. So now let's talk modding the Switch. The factory lube job was pretty consistent across my 90 Switch sample size, and they lubed the bottom housing and stem sliders with what looks like Krytox 205G0. I also noticed the same lube on the springs, which are quite long compared to stock's cherry springs. I think the long spring leads to a very consistent push feel, and I'm definitely a fan. I tried filming these switches with best key films, but I didn't notice a huge difference in either sound or feel, so I decided to save my films and give you a sound test with just the middle row, so you can see for yourself. Here we go. Ironically, I think the Switch gets a little louder when filmed, which is kind of contrary to all the other Switches that I've modded, but it retains its smoothness and overall sound. If you enjoy the sound of the Switch, I'd say filming is worth it, if only to make the return sound come out a little bit more. Now, considering these are made by Kailh, like the creams, and that they are full palm, like the creams, You already know, I have to compare these to the creams. Here are some single switch sound tests comparing the ice mints, the creams, and some other popular linear switches. Now I included every palm switch that I own in this comparison, although only the ice mints and creams are full palm. Durock POMs use a proprietary plastic blend for the stem, so they aren't actually a full palm switch. To my ear, the Durock POMs are really smooth, but are a bit more on the clacky side. The Gateron CJ or China Joy uses a palm stem and bottom housing, but an ink top, and I think that's unfortunate because the CJs sounded a bit too sharp and plasticky to me on the return. That's the main reason why I haven't reviewed the CJs yet, even though I'm sitting on over 200 of them. Overall, this isn't exactly an apples to apples comparison, but it was interesting to see the differences between the palm switches that are on the market from different manufacturers. When comparing to some other of the popular switches like the Tangerines and Zakus, I really think the ice mints held their own, especially considering they're from a no-name company, or at least one that's not really popular in the US. Overall, I'm really pleased with the sound and feel of these switches, especially considering that they're pretty much perfect straight out of the bag, and they only cost 65 cents per switch. When you compare them to the creams, they cost the same and sound almost the same, but require no lube. But I know the question you're all waiting for. Are these long hole stems? Short answer, no they're not. The cream stem is substantially longer than the ice mint, at least to my finger. However, you still hear that signature palm plop sound, and when you use the heavier cream stem in the ice mint, they sound almost identical to my ear. I think the semi-opaque housing on the ice mints do make them a bit louder in the midtones than the fully opaque cream, but to be honest, I'm splitting hairs. They feel and sound great, and I'm excited to see what else FLCMMK has to offer in the custom switch market. I'm also really intrigued by their $80 TKL keyboard, so let me know if you want to see a review of that board and I'll try to pick one up. Well, that's going to be it for me today, guys. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like, and if you didn't, try watching it again with subtitles on. I love you, I'm MakerMods, and I'll catch you in the next video.